The war has already begun. But few perceive it. There are no armies marching, no trumpets sounding, only a heavy silence, like the moment before a storm. Ancient forces have awakened and now walk among us, shaping thoughts, corrupting certainties, preparing the ground for something greater. They do not attack with weapons, but with fear. They do not conquer cities, they conquer hearts. Some can feel it. The air grows dense, dreams become signs. The spirit senses danger before the eyes can see it. They have been marked, not to flee, but to endure. And when the shadow rises over the world, all will know where the path ends. In the place where light and guilt meet, where every soul faces the reflection of what it chose to be, in the forgetting of the shadows, in the valley of redemption. It all began with silence. Not the ordinary silence of empty nights, but a silence that seemed to watch. A sound suspended in the air, heavy, as if something long asleep were awakening behind time itself. Slowly, the signs began to appear. Dreams that felt like messages, premonitions without reason, and a constant sense that someone or something was calling. No one knew what it was, but those who felt the call started to withdraw from the noise of the world. Everything around them looked the same, yet their gaze had changed. They began to notice what others ignored. A chill rising without wind, shadows that seemed to move at the edges of sight, coincidences repeating until they no longer seemed coincidental. They were not chosen for power, nor for holiness. They were marked because they could still hear. In a world ruled by voices, they still recognize the sound of silence. And silence has always been the language of God. The call did not come like thunder, but like a memory, a presence that imposed itself without speaking. And before they realized it, the isolation had begun. People drifted away without reason. Paths once certain began to close. Time itself seemed to move differently, and every small event carried a hidden purpose. It was the beginning of separation, the process that distinguishes the awakened from the asleep, the servant from the multitude. Those who answered the call felt the weight grow heavier, yet something within them also began to rise. A calm strength, born not of flesh, nor of will. Then they understood. The field was being prepared, and every soul awakening was a banner of light raised in the midst of darkness. The spiritual realm was shifting, and those who heard the call could never return. For before hell strikes, heaven awakens. Darkness never announces itself. It insinuates. It enters through habits, through thoughts, through unspoken fears. Disguised as logic, as comfort, as distraction, it silently shapes the world. And by the time someone notices, they are already surrounded. The kingdom of shadows needs no armies. It conquers through ideas. Every doubt sown, every lie disguised as truth, is a seed cast upon fertile ground. And the weakest soil has always been the human heart. There, the enemy does not destroy, he persuades. The fallen forces have mastered subtlety. They trade faith for convenience, truth for appearance, purity for acceptance. Chaos does not arise from hatred but from indifference, and so the kingdom of shadows grows, not among the wicked, but among the distracted. Many believe that darkness is the absence of light. They are mistaken. Darkness is distorted light, truth fractured until it loses meaning, and that is what the powers desire. That no one may tell the sacred from the trivial. Behind systems, voices, and promises, there dwell ancient intelligences, as old as the first act of rebellion. They are the ones who inspire collective fear, who turn time into haste and weariness into normality. They work slowly, yet without rest, and every surrendered mind becomes part of their silent legion. As the chosen awaken, the enemy too reorganizes. He knows he cannot win by force, so he seeks to win through doubt, an invisible attack, constant, patient, fatal. He does not aim to destroy bodies, but to weaken conviction. For when faith collapses, the world falls with it. There are places where darkness seems to breathe, places marked by ancient presences where the air grows heavier and time appears to stand still. They are conquered territories, zones of spiritual influence. Yet even there, something resists. A spark, almost imperceptible, remains alight, as though the very universe refused surrender. And it is for that spark that the war endures. For darkness does not fear chaos. It fears remembrance. The remembrance that behind all corruption, there still lies a luminous origin that can never be erased. The kingdom of shadows knows it need not extinguish the light. It need only make it doubt itself. That is how true dominion begins. When the children of light begin to question whether they still are light. But something is about to break this balance. For when lies rule the world, truth does not die. It prepares. Not all light is seen. Some must hide to survive. As the world sinks deeper into confusion, the chosen learn to fight in the unseen. They discover that war is not won by strength, but by faithfulness. Every guarded thought, every restrained word, every silent prayer becomes a sword. Resistance begins within. It is there that faith endures when all else collapses. The shadows try to suffocate the spirit with fear, but the silence of the faithful is what disarms them. The enemy cannot comprehend the peace that exists amidst the fire, and that is what defeats him. The chosen do not seek glory. They fight with eyes closed, guided only by the presence they still recognize within the darkness. They know that evil does not fear noise. It fears discernment. And that is why they pray in secret, walk in silence, and wait in faith. In every awakened heart, a spark is lit, small yet incorruptible. And when many such sparks unite, even hell itself trembles. For light does not need a multitude. It only needs to remember what it is. The outer war was never the true battlefield. The most dangerous enemy dwells within. It is there, in the silence of conscience, that each soul is confronted by what it truly believes. When light pierces too deeply, it does not merely reveal evil. It exposes what man tries to hide from himself. Pride disguised as faith, guilt masked as virtue, fear mistaken for obedience. At that point, there is no noise, no applause, no witnesses. Only the heart before truth. Some endure the weight and bow, others break and flee. But no one leaves unscathed. Every tear is a sentence, every choice a mirror. The fire that judges does not come from without. It is born from what burns within. And when all is reduced to ashes, only what is real remains. The soul laid bare before God. When the judgment ends, silence returns. But it is no longer the same. Something shifts in the air, as though time itself were breathing more slowly. The shadows that once seemed invincible begin to retreat, and what remains is the truth. Naked, unchanging, shining amidst the ruins. The chosen discover that the war was never merely between light and darkness, but between remembrance and forgetting. The enemy never sought to destroy the world, only to make it forget who created it. Every distraction, every fear, every desire shaped by emptiness was part of that design. Now the veil begins to fall, lies lose their form, voices grow silent, and for a moment everything seems to align. What was invisible becomes visible, and what once seemed distant reveals itself as near. The chosen understand that they were never fighting alone. Every fall, every pain, every loss was part of the path leading them back to the origin. Then they realize, light is not merely what conquers darkness, it is what transforms it. For in the end, the war does not close with victory, but with revelation. And something is about to be revealed. Something human eyes are not yet ready to behold. Heaven watches in silence. The earth waits in tension, and the spirit knows it is not over yet. The field lies silent. The war has ceased, yet the world still carries its sound. And amid the ashes, there are echoes, oh mama, remnants of what each soul chose to preserve when all else collapsed. Some returned to the darkness, others stood firm, guarding the spark that time could not extinguish. These few understood that true victory was not survival, but remembrance. For evil does not fear the fire, it fears memory. And as long as there are those who remember the light, darkness will never be complete. The voices fall silent, the wind stands still, and the universe itself seems to bow in reverence. Between the realms, a whisper spreads, soft as an ancient memory, a call to those who still seek redemption. And it is within that call that all begins anew. At the point where time unravels, where sin and hope meet, where every soul faces the reflection of what it chose to be, the Valley of Redemption.